What's up everyone, Ninth Jim here, back with another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video, and today we are talking about Copperajah, the new Steel Elephant boy from the newest gen, and this Pokemon is pretty cool. It has a really good ability, or not a really good ability, but a very strong ability, and then also very good stats as far as HP and attack go. Very low speed, but that works fine for a Trick Room, which is good. Steel is a very strong typing, giving us 1,000,000 resistances while only giving us 3 weaknesses, albeit they are really strong weaknesses. So, yeah, you know. But, yeah, the Pokemon also has a G-Max variant that you can use. However, we are not using that in this build, because in this build we are talking about, like, not really Dynamaxing it to take most advantage of Sheer Force, since Sheer Force doesn't activate with Mega moves. Or Dynamax moves is what I meant to say. So we are just, you know, Sheer Force, baby, normal, not Dynamaxing build. So anyway, let's talk about it. So Steel typing gives us 10 resistances of normal, grass, ice, flying, psychic, bug, rock, dragon, steel, fairy. That is a mouthful. That's a lot of resistances, making this Pokemon a really safe switch in against a lot of Pokemon, and yeah, that's pretty good. We also have 1 immunity of poison and then 3 weaknesses of firefighting and ground. All 3 are very useful in the meta, however, so, you know, make sure that you're kind of careful with those typings. But yeah, it's a very solid Steel typing, just, you know, 1,000,000 resistances, which is just very good. As far as our ability goes, so Sheer Force, what it does is it negates the secondary effect of any attack, but then gives you 30% extra damage, so essentially the Life Orb boost, which is 1.3 times, which is very, very good damage upgrade, and then, you know, just getting rid of the secondary effect of something like Iron Head and taking away the flinch chance or something like that, or Rock Slide, taking away the flinch chance. So it's really good. It's a pretty worthwhile trade-off. So as far as our stats go, we are at HP 122, Defense 69, and Special Defense 69. Nice. So that's pretty solid as far as our bulk goes. Not super above average, actually a little below average as far as our defense and special defense, but Mondo HP. I'm talking big money HP. That's very strong HP, 122. So, you know, balanced, pretty balanced bulk. And then put a little bit of bulk into defense and HP, and we can live some good, strong, super effective attacks, which is really good. As far as our offense goes, we are at 130 attack, which is a very strong attack stat, plus Life Orb, plus Sheer Force, plus Stab. We're hitting a lot of big damage with things like Steel moves, and even our coverage moves are doing a good bit of damage as well. So pretty good stuff. And then special attack 80, that kind of sucks that it's so high. It's kind of just eating away from our other stats, but oh well. And then speed 30, which is like very good for Trick Room. We're only getting outsped by a couple of Pokemon under Trick Room, mostly like Dusclops, Ferrothorn, and Torkoal. But also, you know, underspeeding big threats like Rhyperior, which we can just hit with a super effective Steel move and get big damage in before it even gets to attack. So that's a really good thing. Yeah, overall, pretty solid stats, pretty good typing, pretty good ability. So yeah, the Pokemon has a lot going for it. So let's go ahead and move on to our build itself. This is what everybody wants to see. So ability Sheer Force. Like I was saying, it's really good. It gives us essentially a life or a boost on a lot of our moves. Iron Head and High Horsepower in this. And then we also have things like, you know, Superpower, Rock Slide, although I don't think it affects Superpower. But yeah, Rock Slide, stuff like that. So it's very good. That Sheer Force gives us a big boost on stuff. And then we're running Life Orb, like I was saying, 1.3 times is very good. You could go with something else. You could go with Weakness Policy if you intend on Dynamaxing this Pokemon. That should be a very solid Dynamax Mon with Weakness Policy. And then you also have the Choice Band here, which was a very big decision going for Choice Band or Life Orb. I went for Life Orb so we can use Protect much more efficiently, but, you know, you can go with Choice Band as well. Giving you that 1.5 times boost instead of 1.3 times boost, but then locking you in. So there's a couple of good options for items. As far as our moves go, this Pokemon could use a lot of different moves as well. So first off, we went Iron Head, High Horsepower, and Power Whip, and then Protect. So Iron Head is our best move. It's Stab, it's Sheer Force, it activates with Sheer Force, Life Orb. Very big damage, high accuracy, good stab move. And then we also have High Horsepower and Power Whip for some coverage. High Horsepower, I believe High Horsepower activates, and this just disconnected. I believe High Horsepower activates It does not. It's no additional effect. So high horsepower and power whip will not activate with sheer force, unfortunately. But sheer force makes our Iron Head very, very powerful. Power whip is a good coverage move, especially with things like Milotic running rampant. And yeah, power whip. I like power whip. I think it's good. Although you're gonna miss a lot, so yeah, be careful of that. Although, if you don't want to go for Power Whip, you can definitely switch it out with other moves here. Rock Slide is very good against Power Whip. Rock Slide is very good against a lot of Pokemon in the meta, and it also activates Sheer Force because of its flinch chance, which is really good. We also have Play Rough, Superpower, and Heat Crash for really good what is the word? Coverage. For very good coverage as well. And then we also have Iron Defense and Body Press, which is just a really powerful combo. You can Iron Defense, and then you're very, very sturdy from physical attacks. And then you Body Press, which, plays off of your defense, which is then +2. So it's very good. It's essentially Swords Dancing while also being defensive, since Body Press plays off of that defense stat. So it's good. It's really cool that it gets that combo Iron Defense, Body Press. You can switch out Power Whip and Protect maybe, or Power Whip and High Horsepower, and then go for Body Press, Iron Defense with Iron Head. That could be another really good way of playing Copperajah. But yeah, overall, I like its move pool. I think it's pretty deep. It's very good. It has a lot of coverage moves and a lot of really high power stab moves as well. And by a lot, I really just mean Iron Head, but that's really all you need for this Pokemon. So next, let's go ahead and talk about some of the EVs. So the EV spread that I chose is pretty much built just to live Incineroar, Flare Blitz. Which is cool. 172 HP and 84 defense gives us guaranteed living of Incineroar, Flare Blitz, and we'll talk more about our damage calcs here in a little bit in the damage calculations portion of the video. But until then, yeah, that's our spread that we picked: HP and defense, just so that we can live that Flare Blitz, and it helps us subliminally live a lot of other attacks as well. And then other than that, we went 252 into attack with Brave Nature, giving us plus attack minus speed, since we want to be as slow as possible and as high damage as possible. So very, very offensive. And then we also have 0 IVs into speed, so we hit only 31 as far as our speed tier goes, so that we can outspeed things like Rhyperior, Gastron, Conkeldurr, a lot of really good Pokemon that we can just outspeed then. Which is great. So as far as a couple of synergetic Pokemon we have here, first off, we have Dusclops. This is mostly just signifying, it's really good on Trick Room teams. And then also, Dusclops is the most used, if not one of the most used Pokemon in general, but it's definitely the most used Trick Room setter, and it's just very, very good in general. It also has access to Bulldoze, so if you go Weakness Policy for Copperajah, you can proc your own Weakness Policy, which is cool. You can go for, like, Protect turn 1, and then set up Trick Room, and then next turn go for Bulldoze, proc your own Weakness Policy since you're underspeeding your Copperajah, and then Copperajah is hitting +2, very, very offensive Dynamax moves, so that's really good as well. That's another really cool way you can play it. And then we also have Togekiss here. Togekiss kind of just destroys everything the Copperajah is afraid of. It is immune to ground, which is very good, and it also just destroys fighting type Pokemon, and it will usually just soak up some fire type damage, which is very good. So it covers Copperajah's weaknesses pretty well. You could also, follow me during your Iron Defense turn for Body Press. That's another really good way of using that, utilizing that to your advantage. So that's about it for this build and slide in general. Let's go ahead and talk about some speed tiers. So, like I said, we hit 31, which is on the same speed tier as Reuniclus and Snorlax. However, most of the time with Snorlax, you'll see it invested a little bit of speed, just so that it, it is not always in Trick Room, so it's fine to have some speed. But Reuniclus will always be on the same speed tier as you, 9 out of 10 times at least. So, yeah, expect to speed tie with Reuniclus. A couple of things that we outspeed initially is Hatterene, Dusclops, Torkoal, Ferrothorn. Not very many people, as we hit a very low speed tier at 31, which is good. That means, we're going to be outspeeding all of everything above us when Trick Room is active. And before Trick Room is active, we can hit Hatterene for huge damage, or even, not be super worried about an eruption from Torkoal, which is very good. A couple of things that do outspeed us initially is Bronzong, Mudsdale, Gastron, Rhyperior, Conkeldurr, and everything else in the world. Everything, we're very slow, so we're going to be getting outsped initially by a lot of things, so that's another big reason I value Protect on this set instead of going with Choice Band, so that we can Protect turn 1 while we're setting up Trick Room, and then, sweep following turns. So that's about it for our speed tiers. It's pretty self-explanatory. We're very slow. We hit 31. Not many things are going to be outspeeding us after Trick Room is set, so that's good. So let's go ahead and talk about some damage calcs then. So as far as damage calcs go, they're pretty good offensively. We have Sheer Force, Copperajah with Life Orb, Iron Head into a Togekiss. This is non-Dynamax. None of these calcs are Dynamax since, like I said, we want to just use Sheer Force to the best of our ability. This is pretty much, you know, Iron Head machine with Life Orb, Sheer Force, which is doing a good bit of damage. You have a 50% multiplier because of Stab, and then 1.3, and then 1.3 with Sheer Force and Life Orb. So we're hitting a lot of damage, and i.e. right here, a very defensive Togekiss, 236 HP and 196 plus defense, super bulky, hitting 104 to 124%, which is a guaranteed OHKO. Of course, if it's bulky, there's like a 50% chance it'll be running Babbery Berry, which will bring us down to a 50% chance to knockout, or a 100% chance to hit 50 to 60%, not 50% chance to OHKO. But yeah, very good damage, and if it's not Babbery, it's an OHKO guaranteed, which is very good. Next, we have our Dynamaxed, or not Dynamax. So next we have Copperajah High Horsepower into an Excadrill. A non-Dynamax Excadrill hits 125 to 148%, which is a guaranteed OHKO. However, if it does Dynamax, we only hit 62 to 74%, which is a guaranteed 2-hit KO, which is not good. If it Dynamaxes, then we're dead as well. Max Quake from an Excadrill is going to be hitting 124 to 147%, which is a guaranteed OHKO against our own Copperajah if we do not Dynamax. However, maybe in this certain circumstance, you'll have to Dynamax to live that, but you know, if you Intimidate it, then you will be living 1, which is very good, and then if Trick Room is already active, then you can win the matchup as well. Not a great matchup, but one that is winnable, especially if it doesn't Dynamax. Next, we have one of the main damage calcs here, the only defensive one actually. Well, that plus the Excadrill. But yeah, so Flare Blitz from Incineroar, only 4 attack, which is most spreads. Hitting 84 to 99% damage into our 172 HP, 84 defense, which is a guaranteed 2-hit KO. It guarantees that we live, which is very, very good. And even if it has a little bit of offense, you know, like 28 attack or something, we're probably going to be living it most of the time, so that's really good as well. And hopefully, you know, you live. Offensively, though, our matchup against Incineroar is really terrible. After Intimidate, we are -1, and then hitting with, you know, High Horsepower from Life Orb, Copperajah only hits 28 and 33%, which is very, very low. A very low chance to even 3-hit KO. It's a pretty bad damage calc offensively. You don't really want to run into Incineroar, but since it's so you know, Incineroar is so commonly played, we do love that defensive damage calc. Next, we have our last damage calc is Sheer Force, Life Orb, Iron Head into a Tyranitar. Now, this is non-Dynamax, hitting 114 to 135%, which is a guaranteed OHKO. However, if it does Dynamax, then we are looking at a, you know, 2-hit KO. So if you have Trick Room set up and you have something like maybe Hatterene on the field, you're hitting it with a Dazzling Gleam plus an Iron Head, and you're taking that boy out without even having to worry about it outspeeding you, destroying you because of Trick Room, and you won't have to worry about its weakness policy then. But if, you know, you don't have that kind of situation set up, you will want to, you know, not proc its weakness policy, which makes sense. Anyway, that's going to be it for our damage calcs. Let's go ahead and talk about Single Spotlight real quick before the video is over. So first off, this is a level 100 spread. However, it doesn't really change from level 50 to level 100 since we're just 252, 252. So you can change this depending on the, you know, version you play, singles, ranked, or, you know, Smogon. But so our ability is Heavy Metal since we don't have any attacks that do play off of Sheer Force. So we just went for Heavy Metal. Honestly, it doesn't really do anything. Just kidding. It works for Heat Crash and Heavy Slam. It's very, very strong. Essentially doubling your... So the ability doubles your weight, and Heavy Slam and Heat Crash both play off of how heavy you are compared to your opponent. So Heavy Metal makes Heavy Slam and Heat Crash do more damage, which is very good. So does Choice Band. It makes it do 1.5 times damage, which is very good. Our moves are using Heavy Slam, Heat Crash, Earthquake, Power Whip, Earthquake, and Power Whip for just coverage. Heat Crash for coverage as well, but it also plays off of Heavy Metal really well. And so does Heavy Slam, which is our most powerful and mostly used attack, which is very good. And then we also, into our stats, we have 252 into attack and 252 into speed. You can change that speed to HP, but we would just went off of this pretty basic build off Smogon. So yeah, that's what it, you know, advised us to do, was go max speed, just so we can damage really fast with Choice Band. And the Pokemon is actually like surprisingly fast if you don't dump its EV or its IVs away and dump EVs into its speed, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, that's about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Overall, Copperajah is a pretty cool Pokemon. It also has access to its G-Max attack, which is very good. It sets up spikes. However, you know, I think Max Steel Spike is going to be better in most occasions, but it's still cool that, you know, you have an attack that activates spikes as well, which is commonly just very strong. Anyway, that's going to be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. Comment down below, hey, nice vid. And then have a good 2 months. Follow me on Twitter, join my Discord, and like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening. Have a good next 2 months. Goodbye.